Welcome to TrendPlainNews. Today breaking news is
Quebec Mosque saw itself in harmony with Canadian society. We love everyone. That's how Mohamed Yangay, the president of the Islamic Cultural Centre of Quebec, described his organization in June after it was the site of a particularly grotesque act of anti-Muslim vandalism. A man had finished praying at the mosque, and as he opened the door to leave, he noticed a package at the doorstep, with the words Bon Appetit written in thick, black capital letters. Wrapped inside was a severed pig's head, still dripping in fluids, an all too frequent gesture of contempt for Muslims, most of whom do not consume pork. Still, Yangay said at the time, "We have no problem with anyone, and we respect people. We hope it's mutual, and we are always here to give the image of the good Muslim to all Quebecers." With anti-Muslim sentiment on the rise in the Western world in the wake of high-profile and deadly terrorist attacks, the Islamic Centre in Quebec City, alongside many other Canadian mosques, has experienced its share of attacks. All of them pale in comparison to what happened Sunday night, when at least 2 gunmen entered the building and opened fire on the 60 to 100 worshippers there, killing 6 and injuring 8 others. Why is this happening here? Yangay asked after the attack. "This is barbaric. As of now, police have labeled the shooting an act of terror, but they have not said by whom or for what motive." Authorities did not identify the 2 suspects they arrested or their ethnicity or religious identity, if any, but the attack came at a time of great turmoil for Muslims globally and in the US, where people were still reacting to the results of President Trump's executive order prohibiting entry into the United States for migrants from 7 mostly Muslim countries, and to his broader campaign theme against radical Islam, highlighted by his statement that "I think Islam hates us." And this particular mosque has found itself repeatedly under attack. This masjid has witnessed a lot of issues before, threats and vandalism, and some Islamophobic graffiti, Samer Madzeb, president of the Canadian Muslim Forum, told the Washington Post, using the Arabic word for mosque. "It's not the first time." After the pig's head was left on the mosque doorstep, Yangay said incidents like this occur about once a year. The Islamic Cultural Centre of Quebec grew out of the Association of Muslim Students, which was begun in 1972 by 4 Muslims who worked for or attended the nearby Laval University. By 1985, the association had grown large enough to merit its own building, which included a mosque that attracts a small, young and diverse crowd from the school. The congregation of about 100 includes many attendees of North African descent. 6 killed, 8 injured by gunmen who invaded Quebec City Mosque. Though the center holds regular prayer groups, it also described itself as a place to be both Canadian and Muslim in equal parts, neither superseding the other. As described on its Facebook page, the center offers local Muslim spiritual and Islamic socio-cultural framework, in harmony with the Quebec and Canadian society to which they belong. Much of its programming includes local outreach. Its members have volunteered at the city's prison, for Amnesty International and for the Multi-Ethnic Centre of Quebec, to name a few. For the past 8 years, the centre has held an open forum for the non-Muslim members of the public to ask questions about Islam, which was particularly important in 2013, when the forum was held 2 weeks after the Boston Marathon attacks. Still, the pig's head represented one of several anti-Muslim incidents occurring in Canada during Ramadan that left some Muslims feeling hopeless. "I am tired, I am exhausted, I am hurt and I am disappointed," Saleh Khan of the National Council of Canadian Muslims told CBC. "Part of me doesn't want to give up hope, because if I give up hope, I'll probably curl up and never want to come out in public. You just sort of buckle down and say, okay, I've got more work to do now." Even as organizations such as the Islamic Cultural Centre of Quebec attempt to involve themselves within their secular communities, anti-Islamic sentiment seems to be growing, particularly, as the Post reported last year. In Quebec, some incidents are smaller, such as in 2014, when 3 mosques near Quebec City and 1 near Montreal were vandalized in one weekend. In one instance, someone threw a rock through the windows of a mosque, and the other 3, an anti-Islam group calling itself Quebec Identitaire pinned to the mosque stores posters reading "Islam or to shame wa or Islam out of my country." The year before, a Saguenay mosque was splattered with pig's blood. A note pinned to it read "Assimilate or go home," according to CBC. While Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in contrast to Trump, has held out a welcoming hand to Muslim refugees, many Canadians clearly do not share his views. In 2015, Cogeco Nouvelles released a poll showing that 65% of Quebecers stated they did not want a mosque in their neighborhood, according to the National Post. There have also been frequent debates regarding the religious freedom of Canadian Muslims, including a long-running spat about whether Muslim women should be allowed to wear a niqab, cloth that covers the face, during citizenship ceremonies, with the Federal Court of Canada finding a ban on the practice unlawful in February 2015. When you join the Canadian family in a public citizenship ceremony, it is essential that that is a time when you reveal yourselves to Canadians, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper said, defending the ban. As the Washington Post noted in 2015, another Conservative candidate said, "The niqab is not in line with Canadian values." The Post reported, a poll ordered by Harper's government showed that a huge majority of Canadians are in agreement with the niqab ban at citizenship ceremonies. It's the sentiment that is particularly strong in Quebec, a majority French-speaking province that has for years waged its own battles over the role afforded to religion, and especially Islam, in its public life. Those in power didn't mince their words, either. Calgary Mayor Nate Nenshai, who opposed the proposition, nonetheless told CBC in 2015, "I don't much like the niqab and I wish people wouldn't wear it." A similar situation occurred last year when a Muslim woman named Rania El visited a Quebec court to retrieve her car, which had been seized after her son drove it with a suspended license. Judge Juliana Marengo, though, refused to hear her case because she wore a hijab. "In my opinion, you are not suitably dressed," Marengo said, according to CBC. "Decorum is important. Hats and sunglasses, for example, are not allowed. And I don't see why scarves on the head would be. The same rules need to be applied to everyone." When she insisted I should remove my hijab, really I felt like she was talking with me as not a human being. Elul told the CBC, "I don't want this thing to happen to any other lady. This is not the work of a judge. She doesn't deserve to be a judge."